Go. You recording?
Mm-hmm.
You recording this shit already?
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
There's a nice spread we got right here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're stuffing our face right now with little cheese bites and pepperoni.
Some hors d'oeuvres.
Some honest tea, honey green tea.
Some caviar.
We won't sweet talk you. We'll just say 2 words. Epagloquetchin.
He's reading. That's why he sounds like a robot.
So we bring you another...
Yeah, welcome to another episode of the OgreBox podcast.
Yes.
I'm your host, Alfred. That's your host, Maui. That's your host, Alex.
No, it's not.
I like how we finally said the name of the podcast.
Yeah, man. For a while, we were in the...
Right, the
Denial.
OgreBox.
Mm-hmm. We didn't want to believe that we were putting on a show.
What are we going to call it? Like Shinra...
Electric Power.
Electric Power.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say Shinra Shuffle.
And, yeah, well, you heard the song, right? It's awesome. I want to put at the end of it, they put the fanfare, but it's all jazzed up also. And I want to put that at the end of the podcast, too.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, so, it'd be funny and clever and all that shit.
Are you sure?
No?
I think it's crazy because that jazz song has a lot of... obviously, it's got a lot of freestyle interpretation. You know, like where the song is supposed to progress, they go in and they throw in their freestyle jazz. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, they made it really fucking cool.
I'm glad we're sticking to the theme, Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, we know it. We all know it so well that we can talk about it forever. And honestly, we could probably do like 1 billion episodes of it.
Maybe.
We were just talking about it a little while ago.
Yeah.
It's just something
Off
that,
air.
it's ingrained into our culture, man. It's
Yeah,
just,
and it's at a time where we all were playing games like pretty heavily, and we all played that game a lot.
it's not just that, but the community also grew up with us, and it's that one game that anybody our age that's a gamer will not be able to say no to. It's like, we know that game. It's awesome, and everybody holds it to really high regards.
Mm-hmm. Even though, man, it doesn't age well. It doesn't age well.
I feel like, and this is just my personal feeling on it, but I feel like what started off as real hardcore Final Fantasy fans, after 13, have just kind of branched off and kind of forgot about the Final Fantasy franchise and started to go and discover like other things. I don't know if they feel that Square Enix has really dished out, other than the Final Fantasy 14, because I keep hearing great things about
everyone loves it.
any main console Final Fantasy game or anything. I hear a lot of complaints from the 13 sequels that they keep releasing. And
Yeah, I haven't even looked up to see if they did well or not, but I think they kind of had to have, because
If it
you don't make a sequel to the first one if the first one didn't do well. So 13 people maybe didn't like it, they bought the shit out of it. The second one, people
I guess
haven't
that's all
heard
that
shit,
matters, huh?
but people bought it, and they're making a fucking third one.
Yep.
And honestly, that third one looks kind of cool.
They also made Spider-Man 3.
Really? What?
Spider-Man 3.
Oh yeah, they did.
With Venom. And
But did they make a Spider-Man 4 with Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire? No, they just
They kicked them out.
they disintegrated that cast.
I just think it's... I don't want to say it like this, but I think maybe it's enough. They can apply their resources onto another title.
Xenogears 2?
Anything, really. But...
That guy's gone, man. Yeah, he's the guy who's doing Xenosaga now. And doing that X game.
He's
It's
the
probably
one
going to be Xeno some shit.
They made your favorite game, Xenoblade, with the Monado.
Monados.
With the Manados.
That's the currency in the world?
No.
Either they're doing that,
No,
or,
no, it's a sword.
or they're just buying some time for other ideas to really let's make a 4th part to Final Fantasy 13 while we think about generating
Well, 15 looks insane already.
Yeah.
15 looks like it's going to be
the thing
everything
is
that we've always wanted in the world.
Maybe.
Or
Because
at
it's
least for me.
being made by fucking Tetsuya Nomura.
Okay.
That shit's not going to be good.
You like Final Fantasy 7? You like Kingdom Hearts?
Was he the main dude in that shit? Hell no, he wasn't. In Kingdom Hearts, he was.
Yeah.
But how quickly they... the first one... imagine that the first Kingdom Hearts, he probably had to abide by some pretty fucking strict rules.
It was the first time they worked with Disney.
It might not be the first time.
Or
I'm not sure.
heavily, or real close.
It's their main characters.
Who
and
did
stuff.
10? Because it was
the other guy, the guy who's doing them now, who did 13 and all that shit.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's why That's why it has that different feeling,
I know that I'm not sure if it was a mutual thing or if Disney Interactive wanted to be the ones to be in charge of like the graphics display or anything. Because I feel like if it was Square Enix, their game would look a lot smoother. Look at the cinematics would look really great. But if you play Kingdom Hearts 1, you're like, oh, okay, it feels like a Disney game because Disney Interactive was the one that
they probably had to use
the resources.
They probably had to use like their specific engine and things like that
for like the characters and the worlds to come out very like Disney-esque looking.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. They probably had to like they had to stick to a lot of strict rules and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But that one did incredibly well. The second one, they loosened their grip on Nomura a bit, and it gets fucking really weird and the story gets convoluted and weird. You don't know what's happening. The third one,
but that's what happens.
And there's all those sequels.
But
why even make all those? Like it's just pure confusion.
That's the
entire series.
That's what happens when you make a sequel to a game that finishes.
Pretty much.
No, it's like Kingdom Hearts had a beginning and an end. Now we make a part 2 that takes place after the end that introduces all these guys, but where did they come from? Why weren't they in part 1?
The thing is that imagine if they...
here's a bunch of PSPs, DS games explaining why they weren't in part 1 because they were busy having sex with each other somewhere else. I don't know.
But
Organization 13?
But imagine if they made like a direct sequel to something that ends or something that has to do with things that happen in like Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect 3, it's the entire universe is at stake. Those are the stakes. Some insane super being is trying to destroy the entire universe and all this sort of shit. When you make another one or a sequel or something, you're kind of obligated to like raise the stakes,
Mm-hmm.
But the universe is at stake already. What else are you gonna do?
Well,
if it's going in that same direction, you have to risk like the multiverse.
Yes, that's kind of how I feel about The Matrix, the movie. I feel like
that was going to be my next point to bring up. That's what happens.
In The Matrix, it ended. It finished. Neo's the one. He finds out that he's able to to control the coding in the Matrix and do all these incredible things, and that's where it ended. He figured he eliminated the threat. And everything's fine.
And the thing is, when it's left to your imagination, you imaginate the best possible outcome because that's it. He's the ultimate being. He's pretty much Jesus Christ.
Then, 5 years later, 4 or 5 years later, Wachowski, we can squeeze 2 more bad boys out of this movie. We can squeeze 2 more sequels. And now they have the movie did really good, so they had really good resources. And if you look at the low budget of The Matrix 1 versus how well 2 and 3 looked, it looks incredible, and they had a lot of really good scenes. But those movies were enjoyable, and I thought they were really good too. I feel like the story still kind of ended already in the first part.
If you go back and you watch the third one, shit doesn't hold up. If you go back and watch it, man, this thing's a piece of shit. The second one, thing's a piece of shit, and that's the one I liked a lot. Everything about it, the CG. You remember when he's fighting all the Agent Smiths? I saw that thing again, and it is awful. I have never seen anything so. I'm surprised people bought it that it was on screen.
Yeah. It was good for the time, but not anymore.
The one that holds up is the first one.
Yep, that's the one that holds up the best because they used the least amount of
They never CG'd Neo. Really, in the first one, even when they did the slow motion back.
Oh yeah, he actually fell back.
They harnessed him, whatever, and they did the slow motion.
And they had the billion cameras doing the circle thing. I think they created that thing for that. Yeah,
that's really awesome.
My point was going to be we may as well make a sequel to The Matrix, and you see how that ended.
Yeah, when the stakes are so high, because that one already the human race is on.
No, I mean it all comes down to telling a story and finishing it, and what happens when you try to continue a story that's already finished. It's like making a sequel to the Bible.
What if instead of like you said, Mass Effect, right? The universe is at stake. What if part 2 is many universes?
Yeah, the multiverse.
The multiverse.
But then, what story are you going to tell that it's
making a reboot.
Has to do with the multiverse? Well, if you reboot it or you start off with a different story, okay, you can tell a different side of that.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. Because that's the only thing you can do, really.
Yeah.
You kill people.
But what's good about Mass Effect is that, the first one didn't start off with the universe is at stake. Really, it was it ramped up.
So, you're continuing the Mass Effect series with a prequel?
Mm-hmm. I don't know, dude.
Yep.
It's a prequel?
Yep, and it's a separate timeline. Shepard doesn't exist in that timeline. Mm-hmm.
Dax Shepard.
Does not exist in that timeline.
He's not filming Parenthood. And we're not eating snacks.
It's apparently taking place in the Citadel, mostly. Well, maybe not mostly, but you're supposed to play like a CSEC officer.
Okay.
I never played any of the series.
Oh man, get out of here!
But I do. All right, guys. Cue
It's required reading now.
That's like my homework. Now I look for the next podcast to play Mass Effect 1 through 8.
Just one.
You gotta watch Blade.
I wanted to actually get part 3 because it was really.
You gotta watch Blade.
No.
I'm glad.
Why Blade?
I love that you can see it lingering. It was like Blade. So you realize it was there.
Why Blade?
Something ridiculous. You gotta play.
You really went to the extreme, though.
I would say.
I wanted to play part 3 because, like, I don't have a PS3. I don't have like an Xbox. I have a Wii U, and it came out on the Wii U.
That's right.
And I hear that part 3 was really, really good.
It was okay.
Yeah, that's true. You know, if you do want to get games for Wii, you should get that and Deus Ex.
I do want to get that.
Awesome.
Deus Ex would be the first buy. Wow.
I do want to get it.
Yeah.
I want to see actually what like the adjustments that they've made and the stuff like that.
Actually, they make a lot of cool adjustments, and in fact, you're getting the better version of the game that they eventually had to re-release as a collector's edition or a director's cut to the people on Steam for like $15.
Damn.
Yeah, because
is it out already?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm buying
because
it.
they kind of like when they originally made them, the boss battles were, I guess, they rushed or they didn't put any thought into it really, and it was
they were what's it called? They were
outsourced.
Outsourced to a different gaming company just so they can do it. But when they ended up doing it, was just like a straight up boss battle. Like they didn't have pretty much anything.
Because what's cool about the game, you can kind of Metal Gear it where you can sneak it or you can go guns blazing, kill everybody, or tranquilize them, shit like that.
And you can also take the
you should be able to do that with the bosses. To have a complete run with no kills. But no, they don't let you do that. You have to kill those bosses. Yeah, man, but I did beat the shit out of that one guy the best.
Do you get anything, or is there any kind of specific achievement, or like unlock?
I think so, yeah.
Did you get for if you don't kill anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't count the bosses, but yeah, you do.
Okay, good.
You're talking about the first boss?
No, I'm talking about that boss that I took that turret all the way from the beginning of the level and I took it with me. The turret never runs out of ammo, and I just hacked it while I was there, and it turned it into mine. And what I would do...
But it's like the heaviest fucking thing?
It's a really big fucking thing.
Yeah, it's a big turret.
But you can carry it, and it's still like connected. It's still working.
Yeah.
And I took it really far away from where it was at, and you could just grab it and then put it down anywhere. And so I just kept bringing it with me throughout the entire level, and it would just keep fucking everybody up. And then to get to the boss, you have to take this really long elevator. So I take it and I put it in the elevator with me. And it just opens up, and you can't. If you step out of the elevator and the thing is still in there, it disappears. You can't get it. But I died a few times, so I picked it up and I just throw it in there, and it has to land good because then you don't have time to fix it after you drop it, because he fucks up your powers and shit, and then you can't pick it up, which is shitty. So you have to throw it and hope that it lands okay. And then it lands in that direction. So I had to mess around with throwing it so that it landed right. And then as soon as the battle starts, it's just mowing this asshole down.
That's awesome. Man. But that's the best thing about that game. You could just fuck around with all those things.
Yeah, you fuck around a lot. It's really cool.
It's really fun, The reason why they wanted to add those features back was because in Deus Ex 1, you can handle... Like, you had technically boss encounters, but they were more, I guess, dialogue heavy. You would approach a situation where a guy would be like, blah, 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 and you'd be like, blee, 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 and then you can choose to persuade them, you can choose to join them, you can even choose to, go off with them. Like, there was, like, a certain quest line where they tell you, well, like, if you go down this route, like, you'll make enemies of these people, and you'll be friends with these people.
Is this where you get the multiple endings, like, at the end of the game?
I don't think Deus Ex had multiple endings.
Which one?
Actually, oh yeah, it did. It had a few. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Does that affect making those decisions affect the way the kind of ending that you get? Or?
Maybe.
No.
I don't remember that first one.
I think the reason why I don't remember having multiple endings is because you can choose which ending you want. Like you have to do something specific.
Oh, okay.
For you to get a certain ending.
Oh
Gotcha.
yeah.
And the same was applied for Revolution, Human Revolution. You got to choose pretty much what you want. But there was I don't want to spoil it for you.
No, it's just fucking ruined. He don't have to play. You
Yeah,
get rid of that homework.
Let me play it.
No, I've been wanting to actually.
But you still gotta watch Blade.
I never asked for this.
No, I don't want to watch Blade.
Yeah, that game is super awesome. Did you ever get Pandora's Tower?
I did.
Oh shit, that's right. But you haven't told me much about like how it is.
I bought it while I was halfway done with the last story. I bought it because I couldn't buy obviously Xenoblade at any of the game stores because it was like sold out. But I didn't want the same mistake to happen with Pandora's Tower, so I remember reserving it. But I played like up until chapter like 2 or 3 just to test it out, and then I went to go beat the last story. After I beat the last story, I had lent it to Johan, and then like a few weeks after that, I had gotten Xenoblade.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Monica let me borrow it, so I was actually playing that one, and now I haven't retouched the game, but it's just. It is really cool though. It's kind of like I don't want to say a dungeon crawler, but you do have to go up like various levels.
Yeah.
You go up this tower. You have to you fight the guys. You have to make sure that you collect their their heart and like their blood and stuff to make sure that you feed it to your girlfriend, pretty much, who's turning into a demon.
Yeah.
The curse is getting her, and every now and then you'll see her, like if you beat a boss and you give her like that heart, that flesh, she'll eat it, and then the next day she looks fine. She looks like a human again, but she still has that mark. And then once you go back and you fight and you go back to her, you don't fight a boss, but you just gather more flesh. You bring it back, you can see it's still kind of like it's growing on her again. So pretty much what you have to do is you have to make sure that you beat every single boss.
Yeah, shit.
And then bring it back to her. But you have a specific amount of time. Like, you have a specific amount of time before the timer runs out, and the curse actually consumes all of her. That's why you always have to either stop what you're doing, keep mindful of the time. If I gotta go back, I gotta go give her the flesh just to buy yourself more time. So.
And that's just a euphemism for fucking her.
Pretty much.
Giving her the flesh.
What's crazy is she actually has to eat like monster flesh.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's pretty powerful, I guess. Like the cinematic that they show when she first has to eat it, because she is this royal kind of person, and she doesn't like all that stuff is nasty to her. So it's terrible because like the voice actress convinces you, and she's there and she's crying while she's trying to eat this thing. And
damn, they couldn't cook it or anything.
Maybe you
to make it more like what palpable.
Yeah, make a hamburger.
Maybe you cook out the nutritions that you need.
Them cursed particles.
Cooking it actually makes it taste worse.
I just imagine it's that burnt newt from Monster Rancher.
Burnt newt?
Yeah.
Oh, the snake on the stick.
Oh, it's burnt snake or something.
Burnt
snake. Is it? Like, what am I confusing them?
I actually looked up some videos a few days ago.
Oh, here we go.
I was telling Leanne, it's really funny because Alex and we would play Monster Rancher, and I remember when I first bought Monster Rancher 3 and took it back to my place, Alex slept over that day, and we were putting in a bunch of discs to see what kind of monsters each disc had. And Alex finally found with Tiger of the Wind, this that cool blue wolf from Monster Rancher, and he starts training it, and he starts like raising it, and he's doing it for a long time, and I fell asleep. I wake up and he's still doing it, and he took it to like a tournament to rank up, and I remember waking up and you see the dog walking like by a mushroom field, right? It's like a cutscene. He's just walking and it's like a slower walk, and then he just collapses, and then the camera kind of does that overhead view and it spins around, and then you see his soul just like waiting, like being taken away. But on YouTube, somebody had like a monster. He had it for like 3 years, which is very like impressive.
That's a long time.
And he called it My Ass. And the funny thing is that he knew that after he did this tournament, he goes back to the farm, you put him to sleep, and you wake up and he's dead. So it was really funny because the video's like, oh no, what happened to my ass? Oh no, this and that and this. Oh, it was my ass. And the next day they have a funeral for him. And the guy's talking, he's like, oh, my ass was a great monster. And he's like, the best thing was funny is that, he lived many years, he was a good monster, this and that and this. And the girl comes out, she's like, my ass. Because I was trying to show her that it's crazy because, like, it's I want to say it's easily the more brutal like monster like game. You have Pokemon and Digimon and stuff, but no, your monster is dead. Like it dies.
It's fucking dead.
Mm-hmm.
Does that even happen in the anime? That doesn't happen in the anime.
No one
at all
dies.
whatsoever.
Actually, when they die, they turn
Genki
into
dies.
when they die, they turn into the mystery
PlayStation
disc.
CD.
Yeah.
That was like the metaphor for it.
Yeah.
I remember the golem would hit these guys and they would turn into those mystery discs. That's it. They're dead.
Yeah, it's
But
crazy.
then you put them in the PlayStation and you're fine.
You had a PlayStation there.
Did they invent Monster Rancher just to like sell PlayStations? Was that it? Because that was like the gimmick, right? That you get a PlayStation, you put the.
I feel like the
disc
animes like
inside.
that are
Yeah, man.
animes like that are a product of the game being released before it was ever even a manga or like a like a comic or anything.
Yeah,
They're
maybe.
like, oh, let's make a manga of the game Monster Rancher about a boy who gets stuck in the game. Like,
Monsters Rule.
What's this rule, bro?
but yeah, that game was really funny though. Like, it still had that unique system of like, even in Game Boy Advance, like to get the monsters.
You get so attached to the monster that you raise just to have it die on you. When that happened to me, I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
And we tried everything, and the thing is, oh, it looks stressed. Maybe it shouldn't work out today. Okay, we'll play. We'll put him to sleep or something like. Well,
We'll put him to sleep.
not like that. We'll make him sleep. Oh, it looks like it's energetic. All right, we'll train. Oh, it died.
With the energy of 1,000 suns.
Death came swift and abrupt. And I don't know why. And I would always try because I feel like, man, I got this really cool monster, really cool attacks, high level. I can start putting him in tournaments. Oh, it looks like he was severely damaged. Oh, he's injured and he's gonna be out for a few weeks.
It sucks, man, because my style of playing those games is that I like to train them up real nasty
Just
before
nonstop.
I send them to tournaments.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You can't do that. You have to send them while you're training them to tournaments, and that's part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because I will put them in, then I have to kind of speed through every tournament, and I would fuck them up. But because I would like do one stat all the fucking way until it's ridiculous. Until it's like, like 700, 800, 900, something like that. Imagine that strength, and then you don't have to do much else. So just
I made it to like rank A. Got my ass kicked. In fact, the first guy I fought was Hanger, like the robot dude, and he came in with a sword slap. Severely injured my guy. They had to take him out of the tournament.
Took him to the fucking hospital. They just put him straight in the coffin.
First fight in the Kumite, and
They carry him out of the ring in a coffin.
first fight in the Kumite, and they broke every fucking bone in his body.
Oh man, I really want to see that. Instead of like a gurney, they just put him in a coffin and drag him away.
They put him in a stretcher and then just dump him right into a coffin, and then they put the coffin in the back of the hearse in the back of an ambulance.
And the ambulance just crashes into a ditch. Then they cover it up.
It's already a reserved plot with the gravestone and everything.
The ambulance slams into the tombstone and then it falls right into the hole, but it records the ambulance.
Yeah, and
engraves
the front
it.
of the grill is like the etching.
It's
It's
a message.
chisels
The
it.
epitaph is just ambulance. It was awesome. But I remember those games were always really tough. The same thing with Digimon World, where
Don't even. Oh my god, that first one was just.
it was a piece of shit. But I was always very fascinated by
how hard that game was.
by specific styles of video games, and it is very unfair because it had two bars. It had a discipline bar and a happiness bar. And supposedly, if you kept them both pretty high, they should either evolve into what it's supposed to evolve into, or just evolve into some other
Or Metal Brain
Mon.
Yeah, that's
So
what it always evolved.
I tried to do the best that I could. In fact, to raise its discipline, you have to yell at it, or you have to like scold it if it did something wrong or it pooped somewhere without telling you or whatever.
Not a lot of games make you have to deal with shit.
No,
You really don't.
but if you yell at it,
I'm a poop here.
if you-
That's fine.
but if you yell at it, his happiness bar goes all the way down. So I remember one time I saved the game and I yelled at it until like it was mad. Until it had like an insane amount of discipline, and it evolved to the same person that it evolved to when he had a lot of happiness. When you praise it, his happiness goes up, but his discipline goes down. So it was such a real tough thing to balance out. Like, how do you balance it? I got them both really high, like above 75%. It still wasn't evolving into what it was.
You have to
supposed
give him a compliment and chop it in the neck, just in the throat.
You did good today, kid.
So it's very difficult. But the games like that interest me because it's they're not afraid to do something new. Like they could have just made an RPG game that's turn-based with all the Digimon and something that's been done before that would have been safer. But I feel like it was cool because they went out of their way. And what is it about? It's about a boy in the digital world who has to repopulate it with befriending all these other Digimon. So that's what you do, but it's such a like maybe it was a good concept, but the game, the graphics were terrible and the sound effects were atrocious.
I don't think there's ever been a Digimon game that's been like solidly good. There's one that it looked like a traditional like turn-based RPG and it had like pretty good visuals and stuff like that. But for some reason, the loading in that thing was this monstrous thing. Like to get into a battle, it took like a straight fucking minute.
No kidding.
Yeah,
was it off the PlayStation or?
I think it was like PS2 or something.
Oh,
but
wow.
I remember playing a demo for it. It was really awesome though. Like everything about it was really cool.
Is that the one that you can kind of like fuse them together, or
I can't remember.
Because I had Digimon 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 was like that terrible, crazy one. 2 was the turn-based one that you can kind of like go into the machine and generate new kind of like Digimon. Yeah, and it was turn-based, but I think that one might be the one you're talking about.
Maybe.
It took forever.
Yeah.
4 was actually really cool because it was more like a Gauntlet Legends. It's like you have your Digimon, you have like they had weapons that you can use guns, and you go around with like shooting things.
Use guns.
I don't know why.
Freeze, motherfucker.
It was the weirdest thing.
Take this shit.
In fact, when I had my PS2 modded, I downloaded the game, but I wanted to play it 4 players with you guys. But the modded games can't read multi-taps.
Oh shit!
Like the burnt games for some reason.
Yeah, multi-tap was awesome.
Yes,
what did we use multi-tap for the most?
The bouncer.
Mm-hmm.
And we also used it
For Gauntlet Legends, maybe.
We also used it for that Lunar game.
Oh my god, the ping pong game.
Yeah, dude.
Oh shit! I never played it.
Oh my god, that one was so fun because the funniest thing was the expressions they would make.
Simplest game, but it's so much fun.
It was, for some reason, it was you put in the making of Lunar CD, and they show like at the intro, and they show like all these people being interviewed. Oh, we made the game, and then you put in a cheat code, and it goes into like this mode where you can put how many players like you want, and what character do you want to play as, how many players, and what you do is it was a screen with like 7 players, right? There was one screen. At the center, like you have like each player is surrounded by a bunch of blocks, and in the center is the character that they're playing as, and they had like a little like pong, like a little paddle that goes all around their sides. The guys in the corners are easy because they can kind of like just have to worry about their left side and their bottom side.
Yeah.
But the people like either in this, if you were in the center, you fucked.
Yeah.
So actually, yeah, then it would be like 9 players. Yeah, it would be 9 players because I forgot that there was a center person, and then the people on the sides have to worry about 3 sides. So all you have to do is like the ball's flying around everywhere, and you just kind of make sure that it doesn't hurt your blocks. Every time you would get hit or you would hit somebody, the expression on the guy changes, which is really funny. But sometimes you can put like 6 balls and they're like, it was the funniest thing. And sometimes a ball would go fast and you would see it go into the most narrow spot in between 2 players, and they just go in and they don't, none of them got hit. They just do it perfectly. But it was so funny, man.
That was fun, man. That was
for
fun
some
too.
reason, like it was the funniest game, and it was so simple.
Yeah, and it's funny that it just came in like the making of that game. And that game was awesome too, man.
Yeah,
that was a really awesome RPG.
I played it shittily, like on a Game Boy Advance. Not a Game Boy Advance. It didn't have like all the cutscenes,
stuff like that. I
had
know,
like pictures.
Didn't they have like a re-release of it on the PSN or something like that?
Maybe.
They were like, oh, blah blah blah.
But yeah, that game was a lot of fun.
You know, I fucked up in that game because when I played it, I had lost my file, so I wanted to cheat and use a Game Shark and try to make it to the part where I was at. So I activated the cheat that says, give all your guys in your party infinite health. So eventually, in the game, this guy named Galleon joins your party, who's the bad guy. And right after this battle, he defects and you have to fight him, but I couldn't kill him.
Oh shit, yeah.
And I was there like a million times. Why he's not dealing any damage? Why am I not dealing any damage?
And it's during the battle that he does that, like in battle.
Like he's in your party, and then you kill this one guy, and then you kill him to like get some artifact. But then he's the first one that gets it, and then after he gets the artifact, that's when he reveals that he had a hidden agenda, and then he goes into this battle with him. But for some reason, he had just left my party. But the game still detected like
yeah, that's crazy though. That's hardcore. Like they coded him hardcore as a fucking like as a party member.
Yeah.
I think Alex really likes that game because the main character's name was Alex.
Yeah.
And he becomes a dragon master.
And that's all I ever wanted to be in my life.
Master all the dragons.
Kyle, I remember Kyle was awesome because he was like that Indian guy that was always hitting on the chicks.
And then Another weird RPG on those PlayStation 1 eras was Xenogears. That one was good.
That one was weird. It was very weird.
You know, it's funny. Star Ocean 2 is awesome.
Yeah,
Star Ocean 2
awesome.
was one of those, like, I don't even know if it was popular, man, but it was actually...
I think it was decently popular.
It was an Enix game?
But the thing is, Star Ocean 3 sucks. Star Ocean 4 sucks.
Yeah.
Whatever the latest Star Ocean is now.
It's arguably
Remy
shitty.
keeps saying that I'm not sure if it was Remy or someone keeps saying that they played an amazing Star Ocean game, and it wasn't 1 or 2. It was A New Hope or some other one on the Xbox, To the End of Time or something. Or...
He was watching Star Wars: A New Hope.
No, but like...
That was a great game, man.
Yeah, bro. No, the second one is...
The second one is arguably the best in the series, because I even like downloaded the first one for the Super Nintendo, and it was boring. It was just shitty. I was like, man, this game is uninteresting.
Wasn't part 2 the one that you kept telling me that in the Coliseum you get eaten by a slime?
Oh, yeah. Yep. It's fucking brutal, man.
Yeah, especially when you're doing
game.
the story.
How's it?
The story mode, it sucks because you try, like, if you
it's just them. I'll never forget it.
That's right.
Oh, please.
Oh, please, it's just them. You get fucking rocked one move. Especially when you do the final boss, you get yourself to level 99 and your character reacts because your character's strong. He says, oh, just him. And he's just like, he kills you in one move.
I feel like Unix is infamous for starting battles with text, or like your character says something and they don't shut up.
Yeah.
Because they come in, it's just I misjudged, like the entire battle they're talking.
I regret everything to this point.
It's all regret from that point on. Oh, why can't I do this? I should have done something else in my life.
Valkyrie profile, you go in, divine assault, I shall mark your names upon your souls, blah, blah, blah. Viva la, blah, blah, blah. Oh my god, that should be an end to this battle. Like the entire time, you're just, I want to hear the song. I really like a good battle song, but everything, I grow tired of you finishing strike. How did you like next person?
It's really shitty when your characters just say the same shit with the same moves, and like you'd imagine like they get tired.
Pretty fucking boring.
There's one though that her name is Freya. I forgot what she said.
But she's the green one with the bow.
She says something really cool. She's like,
I'll end you.
And she says something like,
my vagina.
Titties.
Like that we both went there.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, tell him Freya sent you on your visit back to hell, or some crazy shit.
Tell him Freya sent you. Faggot.
On your visit back to hell.
The name's Freya. Remember the name on your way back to hell. Some crazy thing like
that is pretty crazy.
Which is awesome, and like the voice acting in that game was really cool. But sometimes
that game is really cool,
man.
and it's unique too. Man.
When the voice acting, like when there's real story involved, and you hear the actual voices and the characters that they're influencing. Okay, all right, that's great. But in battle, just shut the fuck up.
Maybe like say like one thing. Mm-hmm. That's it. Like you're like
ugh.
just say, you killed me.
In fact, you can stay quiet the entire time and just make a really good like a what is that called? A death rattle.
Yeah.
You got me.
He's so calm about it before. Yeah, you got me.
I wish they actually did that in a game. Like, let's say you're fighting the final boss, and they just spent like a really long, like they gave him like a full-fledged death scene, like from a fucking movie, not just and he's down or he disappears or anything. No, he's like and he's telling you things and all is very good. No, it's taking long. Imagine if while they're doing that, they just walk away. The boss just leaves.
You run away, then you have to fight the boss again because you ran away and you didn't stay for the whole sequence.
You know what the best thing about Star Ocean 2 was? The main character had gotten this skill where basically he leaps into the air and then he lands with his sword.
The head splitter thing or something.
I had literally used that skill because the more you use the skill, the more skilled you got at it. Mm-hmm. So I had gotten so skilled at that move that he would do it and he would just disappear, like right at the beginning of the fight, and he would land next to the enemies because they moved. But then I would just spam that, and because I use it so much, it cost me no mana to use. So I everybody on my team would die, and my main guy is just jumping up, and they would all gather into like a spot, like waiting for me to land. And the moment I land, just killing them all.
And then the slime comes in and he goes, oh.
He times it.
That fucking
what was
slime.
the thing with the slime? How do you kill it?
It was just a quick move too.
It's luck because it has a chance that it will eat you and kill you.
Yeah.
But if you survive it, I was doing the last skill you get. It's this thing called Mirror Slice, and it just hits a million times. He's just bah, 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 bah. And I get right into his fucking face, and I'm doing it in the middle of the fucking Mirror Slice. He's just fucking dead. Shit, it's over. Just in the middle of the combo, in between the swing.
You could only bring one guy to the color.
Yeah,
in the story mode.
Thing, yeah.
Can you use magic or something, or keep a distance from him?
I forget how I did it. I think I had to like run around him. I had to put like manual controls and kind of get behind him and then do it from there and keep hitting him like that. It was weird. Or I had to somehow manage to take a one hit and then go and do the whole thing.
You don't already have manual controls. It's all automatic.
You can set it up, but it's just a lot easier. It knows how to do it.
There's a part of the game where it's the story mode where you actually have to do the tournament. And that's one of the monsters that you face in the tournament. I remember my first playthrough through the game was awesome. Like, my first fight, it was like, oh, you're going to go in there and you're going to prove you're a badass, but you can lose the tournament, and then it'll register it. Like, it's not game over. It'll just be like, oh, you just lost the tournament. So it's like, oh, this is your first fight. You're going to, be badass, and you're going to prove that the guy that you got to sponsor you is awesome, and, you want to show off to your girlfriend. And then the first fight was like that slime, and I'm like, yay, hop. And it's like, oh, you lost a tournament. Oh,
I didn't know how fast they put like the final boss like at the beginning of the game.
And that thing wasn't a boss. It was never. It was a regular enemy.
Yeah, it's a regular enemy. You know which one's a piece of shit? The golem one, the guy who floats. That he was a boss in that cavern, and he came out as a regular like mob later on.
Oh, I can't remember.
I don't know if it rings a bell, but he had like glowing shoes or something like that. He was just like a golem with glowing shoes. And he would literally just like one hit you with those glowing shoes.
No, I don't doubt it. Like everybody, the thing is, everybody in that game had like a one hit, man.
Yeah, almost every monster in that game.
Look, the game is so fucked up. You start off like on one continent, and then you do a few things, and then you end up going to the second continent. Mm-hmm. And as you're leaving the first continent, you're pretty good there. You're fucking everything up, and you feel pretty comfortable. You get to the second one. Everybody there is fucking you up all over the place.
Really?
The level difference is ridiculous. Not only that, but they stone you. They have that status effect. Yeah. So real fucking fast in that fight, everybody gets stoned. You're fucked. And the way you play that game is, you save, you get into a fight. If you lived, you save again. Yeah. And you have to keep saving because, or else you're gonna go, oh yeah, I'll go a couple battles. And you're not gonna go a couple battles.
So then why did they translate it by, oh, it's just them? Oh, these guys.
And it's funny, man. The main character, he starts off with that crazy laser gun thing, and then it breaks, and you never get it back.
I think it's funny.
You'd imagine they could just give it back.
They're programmed to say those things, but when you get into a battle, they know they're gonna get fucked up. Just say it like he has to say it. He'll say the line. It's just.
You know what's weird? Because my memories are tied to the fact that I traded a game, or was it? I had like 2 PS1s or something like that, right? And I ended up trading it with Jason Pupo.
To Jason, and he gave you that game, right?
He gave me Star Ocean 2. Okay, I don't want to get into the details on who Jason Pupo is. But I can't believe that he had that game. And then he also gave me Galarians.
Oh, okay.
Which is
that's psychic one.
Yeah, but the PlayStation 1 where it was like Resident Evil, but you played as a kid who had psychic powers. Mm-hmm. And that's the 2 weirdest games I've ever like. And then these games, I would never expect this person to ever play or understand.
You can tell him, Jason, how did you get past the slime? Oh, he was easy. Like he would tell you probably impressive things. Like, oh yeah, I beat the game. I beat it twice.
I would be surprised. I don't know.
It is, man.
It's like unexpected. You know what I mean? It's like the most like far out thing where it's like,
but that's another game that I've never beaten. I've gone right to the end, got to the fucking final boss, and could not beat him.
It's like Xenogears. You can't beat that last boss.
What's really, really funny, my brother was in a lot of bands and shit, and he just happened to be in a band where he was one of the people in it. Like to play like RPGs, and he had that fucking game, and he was like way ahead of me. He had like all these crazy fucking items from doing all these.
What was his name? Was it Fatty?
No. That's my fucking friend.
Oh, never mind. But he's the only one that I've met from your friends that has been.
No, but it's one of my brother's bandmates, and I only met him like that one fucking time. But he then brought like his memory card to show me like all the shit that he had and what level he was, and It was fucking ridiculous, and he had like items that gave him stats. Like the game's made by Tri-Ace. He had a fucking item that was the Tri-Ace, and it fucking gave you like these ridiculous stats. He goes to fight the fucking boss, and he dies faster than I ever did. It's fucking crazy. I don't understand what happened. He dies faster
Did he
than
take
I
his memory
do.
card and after Man Back, he goes, Alfred, let me show you something.
Yeah, exactly, to impress me, and then he dies at this guy.
I got to try this. Check this out. It lasted 2 minutes.
Like,
You saw that?
maybe it's better
He goes
if
like,
I use it.
Yeah, exactly. I beat my world record.
And I don't know what it is because we have the same problem with Xenogears.
It's impossible.
And
man.
I don't know if it's like,
impossible.
what is it about us that we're not able to beat these two fucking games?
I never made it to the end of any of those games.
Yeah,
And
but
you don't want to because it is heartbreaking when you can't pass those people.
and both those games are fucking hard,
And it's
they
like
fuck you up.
And it's not one of those things where you like, you know, sometimes you take a break from the game, you come back, you try that boss again, and you beat him. You just never beat him. It's just no matter how many times you come back to it.
I know with Xenogears, it was a pain in the ass because number one, you guys are telling me about the fuel.
Yes,
Yeah,
you don't get
it wears you
anything.
out. They wear you out.
You go through
That's
this
the problem.
really long, like so many level dungeons to get to the boss, and by the time you get to it, you're out of fuel.
No,
or some shit.
you get fuel right before that fight.
No.
But the thing,
No.
not. But he has these orbs that are flying around him, and if you and it's pretty much these mini bosses. If you beat one of them, the main guy, he loses a move that it's a good fucking move.
Yeah, like you want to take out like his regeneration,
Okay.
like one of his most powerful moves, etc., etc. And they're all mini bosses.
Yeah, but if you fight one, you're fucked for the main fight because you're out of fucking fuel. If you're using crazy moves, which you kind of do, you kind of have to.
And you can't refuel after the fight.
You know what's fucked up?
That you can't
And
refuel after the
in
fight.
that game, besides that, but there's a description for the main character's Xenogears.
Yeah, to get back fuel, right?
Yeah, that says, it looks like it might not even need fuel. It wastes fuel, and it fucking needs fuel like anything else more than anything else. It needs it.
Wait, but talking about his mech,
Yeah.
like okay.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I thought maybe, okay, so this one isn't going to need fuel. I was kind of like relying on it. Like, maybe I could still use all these moves and stuff when I'm fighting. No, it's not magic. It's fucking magic.
Fucking assholes, what it is. And it's the fact that you can't refuel after the fights, and it mostly plays into the fact that the game doesn't want you to be lazy. It wants you have to like specifically raise all the other characters. Like they don't raise automatically.
Yeah.
So you have to take them out, and you actually have to level them up and all sorts of shit for you to use them in their mech. And then on top of that, you have to upgrade their mechs. So you have to go and
I think to beat that thing, we have to have everybody at max level,
Everybody-
all their shit,
yeah, all their
and
shit.
have all the fucking
and the
top
mechs,
items.
all their mechs have to be maxed out, and all like the fuels and everything have to be like upgraded and everything, because you have to use the people you don't normally use to do the mini bosses, so then your main team fights the main boss.
Yeah, that's what you have to do.
Is that how it works? Like you can split your party in two? Like,
Yeah, like
Yeah, in that fight to take out those things, yeah.
You know what I used to do a lot? That reminds me of a very similar strategy in Final Fantasy 12. Oftentimes I would find myself in a place where I'm not really supposed to be. And one time I activated this boss battle between this huge bomb,
Oh, I remember.
and it has like a bunch of little mini bombs. And I went in with I was like, I died the first time, but then I'm like, okay, and now we know where he's at. So I went to the safe spot. I switched my team. It was a shitty team, but they all had quick names. So I went in and I just quickling, and I did it like a good like 14, 15 chain. And I couldn't do anymore. They all died, and then my real team came up, and they had their quick names also. And I did it again, and by that time I took down a bunch of like the little guys, and then I went in for the boss. Like I wasn't supposed to fight the boss, but killing all those little guys like made it easier. Like it was probably like 10 levels ahead of me or something. And I love doing that. I love knowing that I can take down like certain things. Like even with really small stupid things. Like when I was playing Zelda Ocarina of Time, John's telling me in the dungeons that you go through to try to get this ice arrow shot. There's these little platforms, right? But there's one platform that's farther than the other, and he's telling me, "Oh, if you need the hover boots for those." I was like, no, I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna leave where I'm at.
Don't
now.
tell me what I mean.
Go get the hover boots and come back. So I would just keep dying, and I pretty much started mastering the jumps, because what you have to do is you have to run, jump onto this platform, jump onto this other platform, and which aren't too bad. Hit a switch like physically with a sword. Run, like there's a timer on it, because once you hit that switch, this platform, like across the other side of it, has a chest with an item that you need, but the switch is to diffuse this barrier around it. So I would go, and I would do this thing where I would step right off the ledge, do a dodge roll, and then jump, and you'd grab onto the edge, and I would have to keep doing that for the other two to get to the other spot. And the moment I jumped in to get I grabbed onto the ledge, and the moment I got up, I kept pushing A. The moment I opened the chest and got the item, the barrier came up and it killed me.
Fuck.
Like it hit me, but my guy still like kind of like I was still able to jump to the other because you get like invulnerability after the hit. And I was able to jump back onto the platform. I was like, I'm not gonna go fucking back. Like I like doing things where they say that specifically you need to have this thing together.
Yeah, and you could swear that you can do it. You know,
mm-hmm. I'm like no.
Like you could try it and you can like almost get it. Yeah.
Like by the way that you've been gauging your jumps, like no, I could do this. It's gonna be a pain in the ass, but I can do it.
I love doing that too.
There was another thing that I did in that game that it said, it's required that you do this. I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it.
That's like doing the turret thing. Like I love messing around with games and figuring out the things that I actually can do. And it's like, you're not supposed to go there. Or just like when I was playing this game, the RTS one with the RPG strategy game, this guy Mackay Kingdom. Remember how I'd squeeze out everything and make them be able to move like far as fuck using the vehicles getting off and using all sort of shit. I love doing that stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome. That game was funny.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
I remember in this guy, I think it was this guy where you can stack like guys on top of each other.
Yeah.
And he told me that in Phantom Brave you can knock them off the stage.
Yeah, you just pick them up and throw them. Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Like that's a real asshole thing to do because the fights are just these floating chunks of land. You just fuck it.
But I feel like every strategy game is like that. Like Mackay Kingdom, Final Fantasy Tactics, you're just on this floating land.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
You're supposed to imagine that it's more.
Yeah, exactly. But I just love that they actually take that into account. That's just there.
It reminds me of that cheat in Killer Instinct where you just fight on a sky platform and you knock the other guy out.
Oh, yeah.
It is not even a fatality. It's literally you can kind of like walk out and like...
Everyone could die.
At full health.
And you still land on TJ Combo's car.
Oh my gosh.
Good. We all got that reference.
Yeah.
There was something else I forgot that I did in that game that Johan kept telling me, you really need this. Similar to the effect of like fighting Emerald Weapon. You really need the underwater material.
Don't you hate the fact that it's like they have to build a game with all these weird like I guess missions, like you need the ice arrow to unlock the ice door, so then you can get the fire arrow so you can unlock the fire door, and then now you need the binoculars so you can go find the magnifying glass, and then when you find the magnifying glass you need the stick that catches on fire so you can poke it at the edge of the magnifying glass so then you can get the slingshot. It's like, fuck you, just give me the slingshot. Is that what I've been working up towards this entire time? Just give me a dungeon that gives me the slingshot, and fuck that. I don't need the rest of this bullshit.
It's funny, I beat the game before I got the ice arrow, but I wanted to get the ice arrow because it was more personal. Since Johan had let me borrow this game for like a year, I actually beat it the month of me giving it back to him. Like I started it the month, like, okay, look, I'll play it right now. And I actually started playing it, and I got a little...
You beat it on the anniversary.
I beat it on the anniversary, yeah. And you know what? It was a fun game. Like even though I rushed it, but I did everything.
That's the game that fucked everything up, man. In the story.
It was pretty much I did it so that I can give it back to him. Like, look, I beat everything. Like, I did absolutely everything. He's like, did you do Master Quest? Fuck that shit. It's like the New Game Plus. No, I'm not gonna do it.
Nope. Fuck you.
I remember playing and beating that game. You know how I obtained that game, which is weird.
Man, I don't even think I beat that game.
Ocarina of Time. I never had an N64. I beat it on my friend's N64. And the way I obtained that game was my aunt, when I was a little kid, she used to take me and my sister to go watch movies because she was a movie buff. Like, she was a fanatic. And we would go to Malls of the America and we would skip into theaters. We would like pay for one movie and just skip into every single thing and watch every. And there was one auditorium that we had gone into, and I sat down, and I usually was always like dig my fingers into like the cushions, and I'm like, Ocarina of Time? Like, I didn't even know I didn't even know what the fuck it was. It was just I had no idea what an N64 was at the time, and I was just like, what the fuck is this? And then I showed it to my friends, like, that's the Zelda game and you should play it. And The guy's file was like some like it was like some Spanish kids like Pepe or like Jose or something. That's what he called his character. Oh yeah, Jose.
And he brought it to the theater
Legend of
because
Pepe.
you know what? You know what? Fuck that guy because he brought it to the theater to like show off or something, or or he was gonna take it to a friend's house. Fuck that dude.
All I know is that it ended up in my hands, and that was awesome.
He goes, you know what? Like, I'm gonna take it to the movie theater. I take this as my best
Everybody's
friend.
gonna want to see this.
Can you guys play this? Oh, this is a projector. Just play it.
But that's awesome, though,
Right.
man. Like, how I ended up coming to that, it was fate.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I remember, this is a stupid ass story, but I remember I was little and I used to get my haircut at some, I forget some place. It's like on Coral Way or something, and they used to have like this huge like Looney Tunes bus where like the little kids can go in and play while either they're waiting to get a haircut or while their parents are getting a haircut. But upstairs on the top level of the bus, there was a TV, and they had like a wooden cabinet that was locked, and it had like a PlayStation control command. You can play like some games and stuff. And I remember I didn't like that game, so there was a gap like in between the cabinet where you kind of stick your hand, and I was like messing around. I hit the open button on the PlayStation. I just grabbed the demo disc and I took it. I was like, okay, I'll play. It was a Square Enix demo disc.
Shit.
It had Brave Fencer Musashi.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It had Bushido Blade. It had Parasite Eve. And
That
I'm
was
like,
from the...
this is a really good like classic. It's like
Yeah.
that was the demo disc from... What game? Had that?
it was one of those like
Final
either
Fantasy
Parasite
VIII?
Eve or Final Fantasy
Not
VIII.
Final Fantasy 8, because Brave Fencer Musashi came before the Final Fantasy 8.
I don't know.
But maybe it was on the Final Fantasy 8 one. I don't think so, though.
Parasite Eve.
It was on the Parasite Eve
It
one,
came with a demo
Yeah,
disc.
Parasite Eve.
Of its own game?
I don't know.
Because you said that Parasite Eve was on there too.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I wouldn't put it past it, but I think that's funny either way.
I just think that I think that
I would release my game with a demo disc of my game.
I mean,
would
how do you
too,
go?
because,
How do you go?
you give it to your friend, you know what I mean? Like, oh, check out this
No,
demo
no.
disc.
Parasite Eve had a demo disc of Brave Fencer Musashi, Bushido Blade, and Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Yep.
what it was.
That's what it was, yeah.
Because I remember it. But I had it flipped around, but still, really good demo disc.
And how much was Parasite Eve at the time?
I don't know.
And he bought it for like $60 or something.
That game I did beat.
Yeah, me too. $60, man. You know, back in that time, like, I feel like pricing wasn't like,
Did you beat the New Game Plus? Where you
I
go up
don't
the
think I
Empire
did.
State
No,
Building?
no,
and
no.
No, I didn't do that either. I know that
I think I did one.
I know that a lot of people try to do it with the baton. That's for sure.
Oh, like
That's crazy.
a challenge? Like
Yeah,
something?
yeah, with the
Well,
baton.
then he made it up there, and you actually have to fight that little girl that you're always chasing, her twin sister. And you see her, and you finally make it to like this insane bloody room, and she turns into because Aya gets this ability called Liberation, where she herself turns into like some, she has like parasitic powers.
Mm-hmm.
She has wings and she turns all blue, but she fights you in that form the entire time, the entire battle. And it was a pain in the ass, and I was like, he could never beat her.
That's a really cool and unique game too, man. And they made it fucking work.
That's a really weird concept, though, right?
Give a gunblade in part 2?
Mm-hmm.
Shower
Too
scene.
bad part 2 is a piece of shit.
Shower scene.
Shower scene.
Yeah.
That was the best part about that game. Shower scene.
Gunblade shower
I feel
scene.
like it could, like, I don't want to say this because I feel like it could make a really cool movie, but there's already a movie called Parasite.
Oh
Really?
yeah, there is. Yeah.
What's it about?
I don't know.
But they should, like,
Mitochondria.
the concept of like, okay, it's New Year's Eve. Like she's going to go on a date with this guy. They go to the opera. They see this opera. This bitch is fucking like spontaneously combusting everybody, and you go like, it has like a really good creepy factor. And even like the dinosaur museum, you already know what's gonna happen when you go to the dinosaur museum. You
I was
know
just
that.
waiting for it.
The alligator in the sewers, the carriage on fire.
That crab was a motherfucker, wasn't it?
And which one in that?
It was like, I think you go into like a warehouse or something and you have to fight this big crab.
Oh, wait.
They got the
I think I know which
motherfucker.
one you're talking about.
That's like one of those boss battles that where the difficulty spike, it spikes in that one fight.
You had your teammate was like this black detective dude, right? Who like throughout the entire game.
Well, you don't really play with any like
No.
teammates.
No,
but
no.
he helps you in the story
until like the end of the game, or like towards the end of the story, where he's like, "All right, let's team up for this," and he ends up dying or something. Like that.
yeah. As soon as you start it.
I remember getting to that part of the game, and I'm like,
No, didn't he jump out of a helicopter or something?
Oh, he gets on fire, He's on a tanker ship or something.
I think it's because he's too close to the.
Yeah, but he's actually smart, like, because he's on a tanker ship and he just jumps off into the ocean.
Yeah.
Like, he lives, actually.
Well, to me, he died because of my young kid brain. So
But-
I was like, oh, why did they introduce him? Like, throughout the entire story, he's just like this badass guy and it's this and this. And he's like, all right, I'm going to help you on this mission.
All right, you go to that spooky warehouse. I'm going to Toys R Us. Just has a fucking great time.
And he basically just, like, he literally came with you on that mission just to die, first thing. Like, to me, it was, he died because I didn't grasp the concept that, like, he would live after that. I just thought, like, oh, that's it, he's
I'm
dead.
going to KB Toys.
To me, though, that game, for some reason, was really creepy. It's
It was.
always been creepy because...
That piano, man.
You go and you go to a store and you're like, okay, cool, Parasite Eve. All right, I'll buy it, I'll check it out. You go home and you start playing it. And you're like, okay, not so bad. Nice intro, creepy piano music, you know, and you're like, okay, this chick's taking this guy on a date. And then out of nowhere, they take this creepy turn. They're like, oh, I better check things backstage. The backstage is the creepiest thing. The music.
And that fucking rat transformation.
The rat transformation. You're going from room to room. There's the creepiest one, I think, was like Central Park. You go to Central Park and the cops are parked in the front. So, like, when there's people, you know, when you can tell there's other people, or at least for me, I get so into the game when I'm like, okay, here's comfort.
Yeah.
Oh, but we need to go find this thing and over there. You go and you're by yourself. You're completely isolated.
Yeah, that's why it's so scary because you're on your own.
And I hate it because, like, I put myself in those shoes. Like,
Right.
fuck.
Hey, had you played Silent Hill back in that day, you would have been...
I played it for a little bit, and I can already tell you that yes, that game also provides the exact same.
Yeah, it's like the same sort of. That game is like Silent Hill, and with RPG.
Yeah, art elements. Yeah, mm-hmm.
But I just hated it, man, because everywhere you go, it's just you. Oh, spooky museum.
Did you have to go to a zoo in that game?
Yeah, or no?
Is that the first one or the second one?
The zoo, like, is in
No,
Central Park. Isn't it?
The Central Park Zoo, right?
Central Park.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
You know what game was
I thought maybe
scary
it was
for me at
confusing.
first when I was a little kid and I played it? Metal Gear Solid. I
Really?
rented it from Blockbuster, right? And I was sneaking around. And you know where before you fight Revolver Ocelot, there's like this conversation that they have, and it's one of those just wacky conversations. But I took it so literal. It was it's like, you gotta watch out because there might be ghosts. And then that game just became a survival horror to me and my friend. And I was like, ghosts? Oh shit! And
Ghosts?
I was sneaking around for a long time, so carefully, scared out of my mind that there would be a ghost that would pop out until like one of my friends was like, "There's no ghost in that game." That was just like some bullshit. I was like, "No!"
That's Sony suck.
There's this part in Parasite Eve where you go onto the submarine. Submarine or a tanker, I forgot what it is, but you go onto it.
Aircraft carrier?
Is
It was an aircraft carrier.
Yes,
That's where you fight
yes.
that bitch.
Aircraft carrier. And you're on there, and there's this blue globule, like...
Globulous?
Gacky, like... It's like some weird looking monster. It obviously looks...
Weird.
Like I want to say, like... Yeah, glob, because it looks like it's like a parasite. And that's like the theme that they ran in the game. And you fight this blue monster. And it appears like you killed it, but what you have to do is once you kill it, you go into the aircraft carrier, and you have to find this kid. So the moment you start moving, like, and you actually exit the cutscene, like you're actually running towards the door that's behind you, but the camera stays back, even though you went, and they show the monster move, and then it blackens out, and then it shows where you're at inside the aircraft carrier, and you're running to get the kid. And they do this thing where it's like an overhead view, and then right before you leave, you can see the blue monster chasing.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck. You go, you get the kid, and then you go, and you particularly like if you just ran straight and then right, and you have to go back down and keep going straight. They literally made it so that while you're running, like it still stays kind of right behind you. You're like just barely. Fuck. You go up the stairs and you run, like the camera's already upstairs, and you're running towards the camera, and you see the creature, like he's not moving, like over the stairs. Like maybe you're like, oh, he can't, and he just goes, and he just jumps like right over you. And you're running, and that thing was really tough. I'm like, man, I really don't want to fight this thing again. Like, I really don't.
Yeah, I think
and
it's a pain in the
such
ass,
a
man.
creepy like factor, like that chase that provides that anxiety. I remember like doing that. I was like, no.
Yeah, a lot of games don't do that sort of thing anymore. Like, there's not a lot of scary games.
No, Dead Space was the last good one.
Dead Space is scary. Right?
Yeah, that's the last good one that I played. Dead Space 2 and 3, were more action games.
Condemned, like the latter.
Condemned 1 was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Even part 2 was a lot of fun.
It had scary parts in part 2, but it was different.
Then he got his ass kicked.
I love that shit.
He was so angry that he got his ass kicked. Yeah, it's John's house, man.
Yeah. Yeah, the game was super. Like, it was insane, and everything about it was really, really creepy, because it kind of had like a supernatural sort of side to it. But also the enemies that you had to fight all the time were just buff, angry, like super, like nothing, like Incredible Hulk
versions of the
bums.
Yeah.
Just super strong, super crazy.
My favorite.
And super angry. Always yelling at you and shit. Yelling crazy shit.
Yeah.
And they're just all out of control. There was a part in the game where I get into like the subway thing and I see the subway track, and I already hear like a bunch of them, and I instantly hear a gunshot. I'm like, fuck, one of these guys got a gun. But I hear it go off. I'm like, what the fuck is he shooting at? And there was like a gun on the floor for, like, let's say the player to pick up, but one of them picked it up and started shooting the other bums, and they shoot each other, and I'm just waiting for them to finish and run out of bullets until I go in there and beat the shit out of them.
Man, that is awesome.
I remember
the
best thing
insane.
was watching you play when you had gone into the last part of the game where you're at that barn. And those two super huge Hulk bums come out with fire sticks, and you had gotten them to like get between each other, and they started beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah, that's right. The fucking like final bosses, and they're beating the shit out of each other with these sticks on fire.
They're just beating the shit out of each other.
Somehow I got him to do that.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
He ran like right between them, and they swung. And one of the guys just,
that's how it always happens. Exactly.
So he aggro?
Yeah, exactly. He aggroes them. They get hit, and it's like, and they just lock on and start beating the fuck out of each other.
Well,
I'm like, all right.
When those bosses kill each other, and you just go ahead.
That's pretty much what happened. They fucking killed each other. That's it. Like that was like probably supposed to be like the most like difficult encounter because these guys.
They're like, look, this is gonna be the hardest fight you ever been. You better watch out. Keep a sharp eye.
That reminds me. I just fucking like the other day, like yesterday. I just finished. I beat Fear 3.
Okay.
I just decided to just play right through it like in one fucking day. Towards the end of the game, there's this one boss.
Is that scary, by the way? The game?
Huh?
Is the game scary?
Not really. The first one is scary, but the third one, it's fucking stupid. Like, there's just dumb shit going on, but it's a cool game. There's this encounter that you have with these, they call them like phase commanders, and what they do, they can walk into a wall and they'll teleport through another wall and shit like that, and they're huge and they're armored and they have this like force field sort of thing. And one of them takes 1 billion bullets, man, and they have these guns that will fuck your shit up. And just one of them is enough, but normally you fight one and they have a bunch of troops coming the entire time. This time, 2 motherfuckers come out. The hardest fucking thing, man, because their guns will fucking kill you. But I guess the thing that you're supposed to do, the thing that's different is that they have riot shields in this one, and if you pick up the riot shield, their guns aren't doing anything, and you could just blast them. But I was doing that, and I kept backing myself off into a corner, and I kept getting in their face, and they kept pushing me back, and I got thrown into a corner, and I couldn't fucking move, and I had ran out of ammo. And so then I'm like, man, what the fuck am I gonna do? They're gonna like whittle me down, but it turns out that they can't whittle you down unless you're like exposed. And the thing has like a shield bash sort of thing. And so what I just started doing, I just started going, and you can kind of spam it, and you just go, pa pa. And you keep like double tapping him with the shield until I see the shields going away, and I knock out, and one of them's just, it takes fucking forever, but I hit him, and he ends up dying. But how they die is that they kind of, you can't just kill them and they fall on the floor. No, they kind of just do some self-destruct predator thing, and so I'm right in front of him, and that thing fucks you up a lot. And the other one's still like right there next to him, like kicking me and shit. So then I'm really fucked up, and I just kind of wait until my health recovers, and then I do it again. And I keep hitting with slamming with the fucking riot shield, and it takes forever.
So you kept doing the John.
Yeah. I just ended up doing that bullshit where I should have fucking died, but I beat it, and then I'm like, I have no ammo, no guns, or anything.
It's funny, you won, but there was no victory.
Yeah. I'm like, fuck, I won't feel satisfied with this.
You look around and you go,
I'm a real American.
And I think at that we reached the hour.
Is it an hour?
An hour and 4 minutes.
Oh, okay, cool.
Sorry, so just a small little recap. Don't play Digimon ever.
That's what you should take away from this.
Should be illegal.
It's actually really bad. Really bad. That should be like one of the angry video game nerd reviews.
You know what's crazy? It's really bad, but it's the best Digimon game like I've ever played. Where you can go and you can take a wherever you want.
You take a shit.
I got so much to say about that game, but maybe for another time.
Yeah, save it.
Yeah, we have plenty of time before you die.
Yeah, there's plenty of podcasts in between now and when you're dead.
And next week.
Which is next week.
And that's me signing off.
So Alfred's gonna buy the snacks next time.
Mm-hmm. I should have money. I'll get beer and snacks.
This is Maui saying good night.
I'll get Jiro and snacks.
You get what? A Jiro?
A Jiro.
But I wanted Agumon.
I could throw a Jiro. Yeah, the meat is a little fluffy.
A little fluffy.
You know that from?
That's that P. Holmes thing.
I think that one was the best one though, because they had done another one where it was Angel.
Oh, you saw him?
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, that's right. But there's not a lot to say about Angel.
I think it's the thing that ruined it for me was adding the laugh track.
Oh, yeah. I noticed that too. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I don't remember this in the other ones.
No, the other ones didn't have the
Because
laugh
you know what? He made the other two before the show started.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the other ones, I guess, it's like we already got them in here. Fuck it. All the cameras are here. Anyway, fuck it. That's it.
Pizza.
That was the OgreBox podcast, episode 8. Maybe.
No, I don't. Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's it.
Good shot.
Yeah, let's switch.
You already stopped it?